Welcome to the Deep Dive Books channel, where we hope you find something valuable every day.
We continue discussing Dan Ariely's book, Misbelief. This is part 5 of our interpretation. Ariely's book seemingly discusses why there are so many misbelievers, or conspiracy theorists, but this phenomenon actually relates to each of us. It's not just that we all know such people, but also that we all have similar tendencies and face similar difficult situations. Sometimes, it's not because of any personal weakness or mistake, but external, random factors can put us in an uncomfortable state. That state is being marginalized, or more severely, being rejected. Let's start with a small story. One day, American sociologist Kipling Williams was walking his dog in the park. Suddenly, a frisbee landed at his feet. He saw that 2 people were playing a game of catch. Naturally, he picked up the frisbee and threw it back to one of them. Unexpectedly, that person, possibly trying to be friendly, threw the frisbee back to Williams. So, Williams played along for a while, making the game from 2 people to 3. After a few rounds, the 2 people resumed throwing the frisbee just to each other, no longer including Williams. Williams naturally continued his walk with his dog, but felt a bit uncomfortable. Williams found this feeling strange. He didn't know the 2 people, they were originally playing alone, and it had nothing to do with him. Moreover, he didn't even like playing frisbee. Yet, he couldn't shake off a feeling of sadness and disappointment, almost as if he was hurt. What was going on? With a sociologist's sensitivity, Williams immediately organized several experiments. In these experiments, 3 people played a ball-tossing game. Initially, they all played together, but soon, 2 people, played by researchers, started tossing the ball only to each other, excluding the third person, the actual subject. The research found that this situation, if it lasted a few minutes, would create a strong sense of rejection in the third person, leading to feelings of sadness and anger. Their sense of belonging and self-esteem significantly declined. Researchers even developed an electronic version of the virtual ball-tossing game, where 2 NPCs played with the subject. The subject could play the game while undergoing a brain scan. And the mental pain caused by the silent exclusion had neural responses similar to physical pain. It hurts to be left out. The sense of rejection has serious consequences. Another study was conducted like this. First, subjects were given a psychological suggestion. Based on our personality test, you will be a very lonely person. All your friends and social relationships will gradually distance themselves from you starting in your 20s. Even if you get married, your marriage will be short-lived. You will grow old alone. Subjects who received this social rejection suggestion performed abnormally in subsequent tests. They walked past a donation project. Others donated, but they didn't. Someone accidentally dropped a bunch of pencils. Normally, people would help pick them up, but they didn't. In a game to win prizes, by solving puzzles, they were more likely to cheat. Their moral sense declined. When a person feels socially rejected, they not only suffer, but also want revenge. As we've said before, the best treatment the world can give you today is to let you be needed. As long as people rely on you, it doesn't matter if there are various criticisms and complaints. What you fear is people no longer needing you, that you have nothing to do with them anymore. That feeling is comparable to being deliberately hurt. Rejection is precisely the social situation that misbelievers face. Your friends and family are all well-educated, decent people, but you insist that the American moon landing was faked, that Western technology was stolen from the Yonhla Encyclopedia, and you tell everyone you meet. Initially, people criticized and laughed at you, but eventually, they just distanced themselves from you. They were embarrassed to invite you out to dinner, afraid you would talk nonsense. Gradually, they stopped inviting you to gatherings. Imagine how that feels. Then one day, you find an online community where everyone passionately believes in conspiracy theories. Wouldn't you join them for warmth and support? Ariely deeply infiltrated some of these online communities and found an interesting feature. These communities are exceptionally united and friendly. Even if you post something unreliable, or even advocate violence, many people will respond with praise and encouragement. They reach a level of mutual flattery. If you conduct some so-called research and claim to have made a new discovery, someone will say you deserve a Nobel Peace Prize. Ariely thought this was very different from the academic world. In academia, no matter how good your research is, no colleague would ever say, you should get a Nobel Prize. That's ridiculous. They would love to prove you wrong, to show they are right. Scientists love to question, especially their peers. It's a blessing if they don't undermine you. The conspiracy community is an alliance of the disheartened. They need recognition more, their group identity is much stronger than the outside world, and they are more willing to defend their group. Such a group naturally has centripetal force. Imagine being in such a community, where someone posts new evidence that the Kennedy assassination was the work of a deep state, which they found in a decades-old newspaper article. Even if you privately think the logic is flawed, would you refute it? You wouldn't. Doubting is not allowed. This isn't about facts, but about stance and attitude. This creates a positive feedback loop. The more united the misbelievers community, the less accepted their ideas are by mainstream society. The more they detach from mainstream society, the more united they become. This is the social factor of the misbelief funnel we mentioned in the first lecture. So if you have a friend or family member who is passionately talking about something unreliable, debating with them is unlikely to go well, but completely ignoring them is also not right. The more you distance them, the more likely they are to join another community. The best way is to pacing and leading, giving them a sense of security, making them believe you are on their side, sharing common concerns and positions, and then maybe you can talk about other things. That is very, very difficult, but it will get even harder. Joining a misbelief community, because of a sense of rejection, is just the initial stage. Next, two accelerating mechanisms will push people into the intermediate and advanced stages of the misbelief funnel. The first mechanism is cognitive dissonance. Here's a famous example, which we might as well repeat. In Minnesota, a housewife named Marian Keech created a community of believers in extraterrestrials. In 1954, Keech made a prophecy. On December 21st, a great flood would break out, starting from the West Coast and spreading across the United States. The extraterrestrials had already told her that all believers should gather at her home and wait, as a spaceship would come to rescue them. Some people were skeptical, while others truly believed. They believed so much that they sold their property, left their families, and brought all their money to Keech. On December 21st, the spaceship didn't come, and the flood didn't happen. The interesting part is what happened the next day. Who do you think would be angrier at Keech? Those who were initially skeptical, or those who sold their property for her? The answer is, those who were the fervent believers yesterday were not only not angry, but believed in Keech even more. They found various reasons to explain why the spaceship didn't come. This is cognitive dissonance. Having invested so much, it can't all be foolishness, so they must find an explanation. Actually, I was right. We usually think that a person's views lead to their actions. For example, you believe exercise is good for your health, so you exercise, right? But cognitive dissonance is when actions lead to views. Because I have already done it, it must be right. For example, the sour grapes fable is a form of cognitive dissonance. The fox couldn't reach the grapes, so he said they were sour. Another example is, if you want someone to help you, it's best to find someone who has already helped you. Even if you haven't repaid them, they will help you again, because they must believe that helping you previously was right. They are trapped in cognitive dissonance. The more you invest in a cause, and the greater the sacrifice, the more you believe the cause must be right. You won't allow others to question you, nor will you self-deny. You can't face the possibility that the cause might be wrong. If someone has only anonymously posted a few conspiracy theory articles, they might still change their mind. But if they have already broken ties with family, become a key member of an organization, volunteered, participated in protests, damaged public property, and been to jail, they won't turn back. Ariely knew a guy who steadfastly denied the reality of COVID-19 until he died from it. The second mechanism is the extremism of organizational beliefs. Imagine joining an environmental organization with the ideology of eating less meat, for the sake of the environment, health, and ethics. Initially, some members say to have one meatless day a week, while others say to eat meat, only one day a week. Seeing this, you decide to stand out by declaring, "I will not eat meat at all." You receive applause. But soon, someone announces they won't eat meat or wear leather. A few days later, another person declares they will only go to all-vegetarian restaurants and attend only all-vegetarian banquets. What will you do? Maybe you will say, "I will not only stop eating meat but also despise those who do." Extremes quickly escalate. In a scientific community, such extreme statements would be ridiculed. But remember, you are part of a marginalized community. You highly value the group's unity. To maintain the organization's image and your identity, other members will support these statements. Even if a statement becomes absurd, members will not oppose it. In the US, a right-wing pro-gun group advocates for the protection of citizens' gun rights. One day, a school shooting occurred, and a member claimed it was orchestrated by the left to confiscate guns. Even if you privately doubt the left would do such a thing, the costs are high, the risks are great, and the results are ineffective. Would you refute your teammate? You wouldn't. You would tacitly agree. You believe they are striving for your common goal. As long as the big goal is correct, it doesn't matter if the means are extreme. You would instead suspect the person questioning them of being a mole. When extremism is equated with loyalty, common sense becomes rebellious. Such an organization will become increasingly extreme. This is why we see extreme environmentalists destroying artworks in museums. Logically, what does environmentalism have to do with famous paintings? You think it's because someone is mentally ill, but it's actually the inevitable result of organizational dynamics. Then they are further rejected by mainstream society, and they become even more extreme. They have fallen into the black hole of false beliefs, and it's impossible to pull them back. Sometimes I wonder, do individuals have the right not to be rejected by society? In traditional society, the West had churches, and China had ancestral halls. You might feel restricted by these organizations, but they indeed provided some bottom-line security. As long as you didn't go too far, the organization wouldn't abandon you. Now, in an era of freedom, individuals have become atomized. You have the right not to be infringed upon, and you can exit at any time. But if everyone exits you, doesn't cooperate with you, and doesn't involve you, what will you do? Many sociologists are pondering this issue, and there is no good solution yet. That's all for today. In the next part, we will discuss, welcome to mainstream society.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.